Welcome to the lovely IHP community and the 5D collective. We're going to wrap up and close out a couple of things from our previous videos, and if you are new, you don't have to watch them. We're just going to, though, mention things that you might not know what I'm talking about, and I'm building a community. So I typically treat this like a community, and I will leave you hanging with stories. If any of you tuned in to the ones where I left you hanging, tell me the time stamp, the whatever, and email. And I will do a video answering or filling in the gaps. So I'll go watch wherever that was, and then I'll think about it, and I'll be able to remember. Meantime, we, the smart people, don't follow trends. We don't do groups in and out, meaning special, not special. We're all humans. We also don't do divisiveness. So I love all people equally. Nobody is more important, less important. But when I do say things like this, people who don't like that I say that say, well, who do you spend more time with? And I say, well, of course, with my immediate circle. Well, then those are the more important ones and the ones you love more. And that's a person who doesn't want me to be Maria. And I'm okay with that, because a functional child adult isn't going to keep on trying to correct another 3-year-old. That's it. 3-year-olds who need a group, those are the ones who do the trending topics. They tend to be teenage versions of themselves. I do not enjoy adolescence, meaning I enjoyed mine. I learned within the 3 years of my stupidity how not to be stupid, how no one can talk down to me or up to me, and God did make me the way that I was meant to be made, and everyone's soul is the same. It's, yes, pure consciousness, unconditional love. Jesus confirmed that, and people who don't know, science also confirms that the restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating person is actively what every human being can be, and that's where your body is headed. So the heaven of God, their heaven, in your body, and the kingdom of God in your body. Thank you again, Jesus, for those words, and whoever else said it is there. It's called you being able to navigate, though, your ventral vagal state. That means you need to have a sense of self that you own, which means a higher self, which the smart trauma, attachment, neuroscience, neurobiology, all of it are sharing. Nope, no demon, no Lucifer. That's why if you want, go watch that evil. And anybody who wants to punish, I don't consider them anything except for a very, very nasty human being who wants to do unto others that which was done unto them. So perpetuate completely all of those bad manners of the unkind children that I met that were cowards and that still are cowards, but that completely think in 3D, and that's in shame, blame, fault, revenge, frequency, and words. And so when I meet again in Cusco, I'm a pacha. I know that there's a person inside. They don't lead with their higher self, so the fools don't hear themselves. That's why they lack intelligence as well. And you also won't have any kind of really interesting conversation because it's self-serving. The adaptive child part doesn't have any care for who you are, what you want. They're already in their broken, I'm protecting myself. So you have a sympathetic, which is why when they use the word should, I try to not use it because I remember learning about what it activates, but also you shouldn't do. You don't have to do anything. You have to follow the law, but I mean, for me, you don't have to do anything. I will always be able to tell you how I think, how I feel, and the more physical mastery I get of being Maria in her ventral vagal state, the more amazing it is. In fact, I'm practicing it right now. So for those who don't know, I read a quote today. If someone is hurting and it does not hurt you at all, that means you have forsaken your humanity. Thank you, Sadhguru. I hurt for every one of my brothers and sisters who won't go and heal their inner child, because their inner child was not meant to be in the damaged nervous system, which is the hypervigilant with a bunch of charges that they don't know how to speak from their mouth, because that's what the first 3 years are, implicit memory. And those who don't believe in neuroscience and, again, attachment trauma, it's okay. They have forsaken their humanity, and they might read to you a Sadhguru quote and call their children Dharma and judge people who eat meat, and that's why they're an adaptive child part who has a group. And actively, that's the group who has Peter Pan, Lost Boys, and Follow Wendy, and they have a charge, half a brain is working, and it's a teenage version who knows everything, and so they know their group is right, and that's why you say, yes, your group is complete. No, you don't do any of that. You allow yourself to say, I will agree to disagree. Thank you so much for the exchange. Depends how it goes, but as Bezel van der Kolk points out, trauma is not a story of something that happened in the past. Trauma is the imprint that all experiences leave on your soul and your body as your sensations. And as this man in these interviews tells this person, I use the punishment question on my children. My inner child, which is a functional child adult, immediately thought, hey, Patrick Tiahan, we need you, because this man just informed us on screen with a woman who also is perpetuating trauma charges all over the place with their own biases, how to continue that which is called let me shame, and actually have those children be shamed in a way that will create those who go to college, get drunk, fuck, drink, inner critic, outer critic, and then come whining somewhere or whatever, but ignorance, stupidity, even with a college degree. So yeah, you can have all the certificates you want and all the titles. When I hear the punishment question, I think, wow, there's some more modulated, uninteresting, sympathetic, charged, half-assed brained people, and that is how upsetting it makes my little child inside. And whenever anyone wants to justify those mannerisms, I think you can use this mind either to create well-being or misery for yourself. Everyone has this choice. They're creating misery because shame brings misery inside the body of those people. Yes, because an abusive parent expects flawless performance from their child while creating ongoing damage to their nervous system. So the split is clear. Those who don't want to get rid of trauma and shame and continue to actively post trending topics that involve the punishment question because they live out action movies on screen. In the meantime, they have no good gut, because if they had a good gut, then they would know what relationships and dating is about, and they wouldn't need a trick question to uncover a lie. What are you going to do with that manipulative man? Well, there's manipulative women and there's manipulative days. And guess what? I got one. I'm not decent enough to be saluted. That wasn't actually manipulative because I'm a smart human being with a healthy self-worth, with a gut that works. And I'm like, dude, it's not about decency. And my body actually giggled inside. And that's because I have healthy self-worth and I'm a functional child adult, and that person doesn't. They are in Terreal. Terreal, come on in, man. So Terreal and Patrick Tiahan, two awesome therapists. They're online for anybody who wants to learn to love themselves first, become actual badasses, and that's because they teach. Love yourself first, be yourself. I'm already here saying this is what it's like. No shame, no blame, no fault, no revenge, because those are all petty cowards, fools, and the game of the revenge thing really won. I mean, for anyone to think about revenge in the way that I've heard people talk, wow, you really have some ego if you think somebody's out to get you. Number one. No, that's what I think about revenge. Betrayal, what betrayal? Are you in some kind of physical war? Like, do you need them to stay on track? That betrayal, didn't you learn how cowards work and how insecure human beings don't know how to spell out? My facade friend is one of them. I didn't speak to him for 5 years for that reason. He didn't get the punishment question. I don't need to trick you. I actively will notice if you're bullshitting me, because ignorant, charged human beings don't ever notice that they don't know how to walk a walk or talk a talk. Those of us who do, we're like, yeah, I got an ego. I'm just not blue because of you, because by the time I figure out your words mean shit, it's because you will have walked and not the same way as you talked. And those hypocrites, yeah, hypocrites. I mean, really, my friend gave me you're a hypocrite, because I give a bunch of information and I am able to today talk about evil in one way, tomorrow talk about evil in another way. Today talk about God one way, tomorrow talk about another way. And that's why my friend called me a hypocrite, and I laugh because I'm like, that's just called the consilience and open-minded approach and multiverse, and it's because my brain works really well, because I don't need to be right or wrong, because I'm not proving Maria, and the researchers are actually doing a lot of research, and I believe them. No, I learn from them. I don't believe them, I learn, and then I don't dispel everything they will have told me from yesterday's news because some new pieces of information come out. I stay grounded in reality. I mean, really, I don't go from one to the other extreme. So trending topics, group thinking, and divisiveness are for charged ignorant masses of paused self-fools. Then again, Schopenhauer does say if you want to reach a large audience, appeal to the masses. My question is, well, why do we have them? Well, they do bow down to shame, and they shame each other. So like this man, as he's telling on screen, I asked my children the punishment question. And here, let me tell you what they answered. And that's how he spotted the liar, pants on fire. And I'm just thinking, man, I'm so happy that I'm 4'9" And I have no need for movies because right now, my 0 1 year old attached panicking. My 3 to 7 shame submissive. Oh, we're not in any of that. We're in Maria's grown up body with self acceptance, self respect, intellect. And what the fuck did you just do on screen? And she's laughing with you. Okay, perpetuation of trauma, as people think that that was good advice because, ha ha ha, I'm gonna get my sweet revenge and figure out that that man's manipulating me. Okay, then, sure you are. You didn't bother doing the one thing, as Patrick Tihan points out, any person who doesn't know how to love themselves first needs to do. Yeah, you need to reparent yourself and get out of all of the maladaptive, hypervigilant, your faith in humanity was broken shit before you even know how to use your gut, because your gut is actively wired erroneously for good, healthy relationships. I mean, if you want pseudo-liveness and punching bag and testing each other, fine. I'm sure you'll find plenty of that, because those who do hang out with each other like that are the codependent martyr superiors, which is why they get into those types of, dynamics, which is why the people who are following somebody who wants to ask a punishment question actually, again, betrayal, I forgave. And I'm like, that's not forgiveness. That's just you pretending to forgive and still hurt feelings in there. And you want the bystanders to come take your side. And you're going to have this vengeful little tooth as you actually, people who have vengeance, there's like saliva almost coming down their mouth. But they're not a rabid dog. They're a human being. And I think then of the medieval times in the movie Braveheart. And I think that's just so sad. That's a hypervigilant body. Actively a human being who's in distress. Their nervous system is really not doing well right now, and they are so full of using their dark side of neuroplasticity, imagination, and their amygdala, and they didn't master the one thing that could have made them smarter and more brilliant, and actually a human being who wasn't ruled by their 14-month-old. But hey, you know what? Let's leave it alone. So again, trending topics. They don't really fool any of those of us who are not in favor of stupidity. They they attract those who want to be a part of their group. And they are divided, definitely. They are charged so that they can stand up for what is right, because they know how to tell everybody else how to live life. They definitely believe in somebody being evil and somebody being good without noticing that true self-acceptance is knowing that you can be one or the other, and I already knew that one. But again, let me leave it alone, because you want to bow down to your master who has shamed you and talks to you like this and actively then wants to go punish. So shame the very other group that you want them to. It's such a sad story. And when people hear information that can help them expand, they're like, no, but see, we have to perpetuate. No, we don't have to perpetuate. Learning about your personality patterns, your temperament, know thyself, and mastering your 14-month-old, that's fun. For those of us who appreciate life, though, and those of us who embody that which is aliveness. For those who want pseudo-aliveness and hypervigilance, you will have heard in the other episodes, they will continue to do that which is the 3D, 4D frequency. We won't be shaming them because we're not the actual insecure human beings that they are. So the terrestrial scale is this. We got anxious over here and avoidance over here. Avoidance, thank goodness, they just leave you alone. And I say thank goodness because I have healthy boundaries. So I don't need to spell it out. As a teen, I knew how to say no. I didn't point. I just simply didn't hang out with the ones I didn't want to. I said yes to the ones I wanted to hang out with. And anytime there was a maybe, I said no, maybe isn't good enough. There means something's off. So I'm not going to bother. And I'd never, ever, ever, ever have regretted any of my choices. I learned very quickly because my mother taught me self-respect, self-acceptance, healthy boundaries, and my twin taught me that I can't be physically disowned. So she helped me to know effective realism isn't real. So my thoughts and feelings, they're really important to Maria. They are not truth or false. And so there's that. I can thank my twin for helping me to become an emotionally available, mentally available, and physically available mature woman. And as for all the lovely men, we can thank men too, because, men, women, and theys, I love human beings who are grown-ups. And I'm smiling right now, so we're going to keep it short. But again, trending topics and groups. They attract charged pause self-masses who bow down to shame and shame each other. And it's not funny. They just want to keep on doing what, yesterday's news did. So the lower frequency, let's thank them, bow down. Thank you, fear, for staying around, and we still going to choose love. And as a mystic who is in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, I actually do know the future. What's funny about knowing that you can create your own destiny? and that the people who are in the fate and karma group actively do have an opportunity, but that then they don't take it. Oh my gosh, I have so many things I would want to tell you right now, because today I just realized this other thing, and it's on a bigger global scale politically. And I'm like, if only they had had more people that had integrated brains out there in a lot of different fields, we would be able to play with what is fate. Because I know about the future. I do believe that there can be a different future. But I am seeing how there is the universal law, and so it's bigger than me. God, it's cool. Intelligence, meaning that there's a lot of different aspects and areas that a 5D mystic in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, Anima Mundi, can tell you about. So it's not necessary for our episode. When we have our tiers, for those who are of our mystic spiritual community, I'm happy to share with you what I'm talking about, because it's really amazing. So I am in the future, FYI. I will be on Earth until Earth is around. So it's all good. I just give you the gist of it in case you're afraid. Don't be afraid. I mean, obviously I'm not science, and even science doesn't know, hey, dark matter, dark energy, hey, asteroid, please don't hit us. So, I mean, I'm just saying. But again, side note, the idea that you need to ask people questions to uncover their lies is bullshit, because lies have short legs, as the Italian saying says. And actively an ignorant human being who's a fool will also be a fool for a reason. They lack self-awareness, accountability, regulation. Because they're in their 3-year-old with shame, and they shame each other, and they do a lot of things, they're not authentic. They're not transparent. They're performing. Their performance act involves shame, blame, fault, revenge, and those involve wounds of abandonment, rejection. So they're all acting out of fear. Which is why an empowered human being won't be, oh my God, I just met Lucifer in disguise. No, none of that. Manipulation exists not in my world. In my world, I know who could actively manipulate me and why. And that's in person, because as for in the air, no, I told God, I will never ever act A, Y, Z, D, E, F, G. To this day, I have never had any voice come to me to do anything except for basically what you all know I do. And that's because I also exclude watching shitty ass horror films which don't help your imagination. And I have been in the lower planes. It is not scary to the 5D body type, is what I call a body that has a securely attached, non-traumatized human being, because my child parts are tended to by this human being right here. So mindfulness living and mindsight and mindset is something all people who own their brain, having it integrated, you own your mind, you own your body, you own yourself, you know how to be a badass for real, versus those who act like, let me leave it alone. So when I see sympathetic, I just know that I don't have no fists. I have no brokenness with humanity, no brokenness within me. I got feelings, that's for sure, but guess what? As a teenager, I was like, yeah, it's not personal. I just keep my heart open. You ain't God, you ain't Jesus, and you're obviously an unkind human being who doesn't know what love is. Why would I ever replicate what you're doing? This is completely unnecessary, would make me a hypocrite. Also, you're not nice right now. And I won't be creating it a stereotype of all people. Cowards remain cowards. Betrayers are not a big deal, because that makes them a coward. A liar is somebody that I will spot, because you will come out of the woodwork the minute that you will be inconsistent. And there's no charge. So the charges are for people who have an emotion that they choose not to process. Pause self people also don't know how to do it at all. But they will bow down to masters, and they think books mean something. And when I do this, they're like, how dare you? And I think, how dare I what? Do you have a book on a pedestal? Good for you. That's how I feel about it. You stupid. Sure I am. Keep talking. Can I go now? Because I really have nothing else to say to you. So people who take information and they make it out to be something that is fixed don't apparently know how information is built with attachment, and more than just that, researchers. And so again, as we conclude, I was going to share a story, but I got sidetracked with more of that, which is attachment, science, neuroscience, biology, all of that, which is within how a human is made. There's more names than I will ever be able to remember, but the point is that integrated brains that are with a whole, restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating person who know how to process emotions and thoughts are the very individuals who can use that which is contemplation with discernment, with equanimity. When you have people with stories, they got stories, and stories don't sell to the ears that want information, because we like to learn. They only sell to those who say, I'm right and my group is right and we're going to go punish the wrong people. Okay, once again, none of you are God. You're all in flesh and you're also taking a bunch of things out of context based on what you wanted to hear, not wanted to hear, da 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 da. And so there you go. And the merry-go-round keeps going. And here's why at IHP we won't have any of those who come to say, I want to hear what I want to hear, because you want to hear what? You're obviously still not assimilating information like a grown-up, and I've seen them in my classes. It's unimpressive to see people my age, I'm 45, completely be idiots as I'm trying at least, to learn very important, valuable information to help people who want to get out of suffering. So those who want to stay modulated, they can stay in it. I'm just saying, when they interrupt for their shortcuts and their desire to be in their sympathetic and they don't even notice it, I'm just like, wow. I understand why the grown-ups, meaning the smart people, can't say anything, because they've explained it to me. They lack self-awareness, accountability, regulation. It don't matter. You can keep speaking. They're twisting shit by the minute. So they're going to tune into that which tells them I'm right and the other group is wrong. And if you're a fool because you're not intelligent to know that you are and can be a fool, you won't notice, oh, I'm listening only to what I like because it's telling me I'm right. Okay, maybe I want to get a little bit more open-minded than that. I'm open-minded to the extent of it being completely amazing. And that's because I live aliveness, though, with my brain and my mind and myself and my body. So it's about learning more things, bringing empowered, enlightening people together, mystics, spiritual, and mindfully living and loving. I hope you enjoyed, and whatever I forgot to close on up, I might be back again tomorrow. We'll find out. In the meantime, like, share, and subscribe. It'll help the channel grow, and have a good day.